Alright, so here I am, back on a skateboard for the first time in a very long time. I skated all through college to get around, and I got pretty good. I rode a cruiser board around with a kicktail, but it was kind of like it had longboard trucks. And that was my mode of transport back during that time. I'm 25 now, so it's been about 5 years since I've ridden. And I'm back in the saddle, but the saddle looks slightly different and a lot faster.
So in college, I really did used to skateboard in order to get around. I couldn't afford a car on campus, so I bought this skateboard, which has been sitting in my garage for a little bit. I know it's a bit disrespectful to it, but it has rusted a fair bit. The bearings are pretty rusted out and it doesn't roll much. But this really was the thing that got me around during that time of my life. I never got good at doing tricks. And I focused more on being able to do a manual to get up and down curbs without dying. I can ollie an inch sometimes, and that's about it. I could never really do tricks on my board, because for me, it was a way of commuting and getting around. You'll have to forgive the anime grip tape. Zoomies was selling it, and it was the same cost as black grip tape. I actually painted this deck. It's a bamboo deck, and I thought that was a good thing, and I actually stained the wood myself to give it a new look. But the new skateboard is a little bit of a different beast. This is a Meepo Mini 5 with a bigger battery. It's an electric skateboard. It's got direct drive motors that are built essentially into the rear wheels and a big battery to get you around. So back in college, it was just me and my old board. No helmet, completely crazy, and now I have to treat things a bit differently. This thing goes unbelievably fast, and throughout this video, you'll actually see I ride really slowly. I'm 25 years old now, and I've fallen many times back when I was on an unassisted skateboard, much less an electric one. Now, my reason for buying an electric skateboard at all was, of course, because I have a fascination with the sustainability of micro-mobility, how people get around, and how they can do that more sustainably. Obviously, up to this point, I've explored electric bicycles, which was my original car replacement. And then I got an electric scooter as a backup in case, and actually that did save my butt a couple of times because I had another way of getting around. Both of those forms, e-bikes and e-scooters, can work really well for like full-on long-distance commutes, but they lack the portability of an electric skateboard. So I wanted to get a hold of one, mostly so I could hit the local trails like you see here, and get around in town in downtown Denver. Now, in general, I have basic skating skills, but I ride so slowly because if you try to top speed in this thing, if you try to max it out, it will get speed wobble. You'll notice that the form factor I chose is more of a cruiser style, which means it has a sort of skateboard deck, but with the trucks and wheels of a longboard. The coolest thing about an electric skateboard is that I can hop on the tram or hop on the bus just like this and have that take me somewhere else. Then when I'm downtown, I can hop back on the board and have the freedom that comes with being on a skateboard. I really enjoy the way that I can pair an electric skateboard with other forms of mobility in my community. And frankly, once I got to this patch of downtown, there has been nothing more pleasant than being able to just rip down these lanes on just a skateboard and get where I need to. I know from experience that when we still owned a car, this particular strip of downtown Denver sucks, and you get stopped all the time, and it's just generally a slow experience. But on an electric skateboard like this, I can once again see the city in a different way that I hadn't before. By the way, what are these? I saw these when I was downtown near the college. It's like a cool little solar powered thing. You guys know I love solar stuff. I just thought that was interesting. So yeah, I was able to go from my house, hit the tram, and then end up downtown in the actual Central Park of Denver, and I'm just cruising around. And the craziest thing about this is that electric skateboards are some of the most efficient forms of electric micromobility. And here's what I mean specifically. You can take these citations as they are. They are online and something you can just Google. So one of the ways that we measure efficiency is watt hours per mile, which is a measurement of electrical stored energy per mile moved by a vehicle. A Tesla, for example, gets somewhere around 200 watt hours per mile, which means it takes a lot of energy to go 1 mile. A semi-solar powered, highly efficient car like an Aptera gets about 100 watt hours per mile. Now my e-bike, the second that we leave the territory of cars, we get highly, highly efficient. My e-bike that I ride gets 26 watt hours per mile. But my electric skateboard, unbelievably, this one I'm riding, even at my 200-pound weight, gets only 15 watt hours per mile, which is insane. Anywhere from like 20 to 10 watt hours per mile is just unbelievably efficient in the grand scheme of things. And by the way, I'll be making a video on this in the future. A human running needs about 116 watt hours per mile, so make that comparison. Alright, here's something I'm going to show you that I think you should never ever do, but I just want to reinforce how fun electric skateboards are. It brought the child back out in me, and so I decided to show you real quick something I wish I had always been able to do since I was a kid, which is sit on a skateboard and go 20 miles an hour, which I don't in this clip, but I could. Not that I will, because it's extremely dangerous. Hey, don't ever ride around on an electric skateboard sitting like this, ever. That's really dumb and really dangerous. But boy, is it fun. And overall, that's the sort of theme for this video, is that electric skateboards are unbelievably efficient, but they're also just incredibly fun, and I love that about them. But they're not exactly perfect either. Electric skateboards are dependent on modern forms of urban infrastructure, and I'm not technically an infrastructure engineer, so I don't know the names of every single possible type of flat pavement, but concrete, cement, pavement, skateboards need relatively flat materials to ride on top of to be like stable at all. There are types of electric skateboards and normal skateboards too that have these giant wheels and they're made for going off-road. But for this form factor to work in like a city or village style setting, there is a dependency on concrete and cement and in forms of pavement that have issues surrounding their sustainability and the emissions that they produce. So skateboards are interesting. They're pretty adaptable and they integrate well with other forms of micromobility, but at the same time, they're like weirdly dependent on like concrete wasteland infrastructure, which is probably why skate culture is the way it is and is so distinctly unique across, countries all over the world. Skate culture is really interesting. The last thing I want to mention is with the efficiency of these things, right? They're just getting unbelievably efficient at this point. We're talking 10 to maybe 20 or so watt hours per mile. At that efficiency and scale, the size of a solar cell that you would need, or a solar array that you would need, is not that big. Like, I'm talking 20 watts of solar is only like the size of a person's torso. So were you to leave the skateboard out with panels on it, it could almost give itself another mile of range just by doing that, which has me thinking and definitely has some gears turning for some possible future projects. Alright, so final thoughts, general summary. Electric skateboards are awesome. They are super freaking dangerous. I really recommend anyone who tries this to wear a helmet, possibly get body armor, definitely get knee pads. And at the end of the day, you want to be afraid of cars mostly. People tend to fall on their own, but it's cars that'll really kill you. So ride safely, ride intentionally, and I think electric skateboards have an impressive amount of potential for a sustainable form of micromobility. And at this rate, I've gone through most of the big ones. Electric bikes, scooters, now electric skateboards. I don't know what's next. Electric paragliders? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to like it. If you aren't subscribed, I'd recommend that you do. I talk about all kinds of different topics on this channel, from education to sustainability, which leads to infrastructure and science and engineering and gardening, and I talk about all kinds of stuff here. But if you like my stuff, be sure to join the club, and take care. Have a good day.